Hey, welcome. This is Priya, and today we are going to see a full sketch video of my gouache sketch. So I had request to do full sketch tutorials, and this is the first time I'm doing narrative, so I'm very excited. Hope it'll be useful for some of you, and I don't think my voice is so good, and if you have any suggestions or ideas, please leave in the comments. I'll try to improve. Let's go. I'm using a Honeymill sketchbook landscape format. The final sketch will be approximately 5 inch by 7 inch, and the paints I'm using are M. Graham gouache paints, and the pigments are cadmium yellow light, cadmium red light, quinacridone rose, tallow blue, burnt sienna, raw umber, and white. So it's typically 3 primaries plus earth tones plus white. So my 3 primaries are cadmium yellow light for yellow and 2 versions for red. One is cadmium red light and one is quinacridone rose. And for blue I have tallow blue. And the earth pigments are for getting some darkest darks in my sketch. So of course white. For white I'm using zinc white. So previously I was using titanium white, and my gouache artist friend Lena Rivo has suggested to use zinc white for mixing whites instead of titanium white. Then I changed to zinc white. So you can find out the reason in her free ebook on how to use gouache and what are the properties and how to sketch with gouache. This ebook is available on her website lenarivo.com, lenarivo.com, and it's free to download. I started my sketch as usual with a warm transparent wash of cadmium red light and a little bit of cadmium yellow light. Then this is the usual way I would do for landscapes. I would fill my entire sketchbook page with my transparent wash. Then I go over with the setting up my compositional lines using the same mixture, maybe a little darker. Then I'm set to go. Okay, after I set up my transparent wash on my compositional lines, I start with color. So as you can see, I'm blocking in the foliage first. The foliage is on the left, right, and it runs through the middle of my sketch. So I block in the foliage. When I say blocking in big shapes, it's simplification, extreme simplification of the scene in front of us. So it's necessary to not to get into the details. For example, if I say foliage, there are lots and lots of details. So don't look at the details and just look them as big shapes. And this needs more and more practice. I often get into the details and then I know in halfway I know I am going in the wrong direction and I won't get a satisfied sketch in the end. But anyhow, this happens in the course of your sketching journey. So you need constant practice to keep your mind simplify things and constant practice to apply that. This is a riverside near my home, and it is a 20-minute walk from my home. We love this place. We come for walks, and I have done many sketches of this place, but not this view. So this view includes the LRT bridge, and I love how the trees frame the bridge on both sides, and I wanted to capture the distance, atmospheric distance also. So today is a hot and sunny day, and I've managed to find a nice shade. So we have a floating wetland, and there's a bridge connecting the two banks of the river. So I have set up my sketching setup literally in the middle of the river over the bridge. And as you can see, I have started blocking in the bridge now. So this video is sped up a little bit to reduce time. The actual time is 1 hour 30 minutes to complete my sketch, but since it's too long, I sped up the time a little bit, but I think still you can clearly see what I'm doing. It's good to be in among the nature, so I can hear the sounds of water, birds, and it's a wonderful morning. So it's not many people are here. I met some people who came here for walking and jogging, so I had a little conversation with them. Then I'm all alone in my own world of sketching. So after blocking in the foliage and the bridge, I started with the big shape of the sky. So I love to do more negative painting, that's painting around the shapes. I think that gives a bit more interest to my sketch, a bit more interest to my edges and shapes. So whenever possible, I love to do the negative painting. Also, I love to do some details with a plastic knife, and I scratch along. So for fine lines or something, even for the tree branches, I like to do that. So as you can see, my initial warm red wash has been covered up with the opaque paint, but I believe still you can see some of the warmth from beneath. So I like that, especially in the sky and under the foliage, because I love to do more greenery. So I thought that uh, bits of the complementary color, especially the orange and the reddish sparks of color popping up in between the foliage, gives a very good contrast to your eyes, and it makes the sketch a bit more interesting. Otherwise, my sketch looks very cool and very dull. So I have practiced this uh, initial washing of with a warm tone, and then setting out my sketch quite for a long time, and I am following the same. So even for some of my architectural studies, so it, of course, it needs a little bit practice not to cover the whole wash with a subsequent opaque layers. So then there is no meaning for using the initial wash. This technique of using the initial ground for the sketches is not new, and many artists around the world have used that. In fact, I have tried to use burnt sienna or cadmium yellow for my initial wash, and that has also worked with me. So as you can see, I have blocked in most of my big shapes now. So apologies for showing my face then and now in the video. Uh, in future, I'll try to give a good clear video. So I hope you can see the colors and the tones much more clearly. So you can find me taking more time to mix my paints rather than uh, sketching. So this is because I'm trying to mix a proper tone rather than, I would say, a proper color. Because when you get the tones right, or when you get the values right, your sketch will look fairly okay rather than getting the colors right. So that means try to study the tones of the scene in front of you, and don't try to copy the colors exactly, because especially in nature, when you try to copy whatever is in front of you in terms of color, it won't, I think it's impossible. And so just try to simplify and look at the tones of the subjects in front of you, and try to give a good tonal structure to your sketch. So that will make your sketch hold good. And it's time for the fine tuning now, adding some opaque paint in some areas and cutting off the shapes and redefining the shapes using negative painting and so on. So for the next few minutes, sit back and enjoy. Thank you very much for hanging out with me until now. I'm not a socializing person, but sketching has given me many good friends, especially my urban sketching community in Singapore. So I have learned a lot of new things, and I'm trying to communicate more. And I love to hear what you want to say about this video. So I completed the sketch, and later when I took it home I realized that the water area needs, it's too light, and it needs a little bit more, a little darker tone. So I changed the tone, and that's it. I didn't do much changes after that. And as you can see in the close-up of the completed sketch, bits and pieces of orange and red showing up through the foliage, and that uh, brings joy to the sketch. So I'm signing up, and this is a very new experience for me, and I am continuously pushing myself to explore new things and do communicate more. So let's see, and thanks for viewing, and please visit my website priyaartstudio.com for many other gouache sketches. See you in my next video. Have a great day ahead. Bye.